Harem! 1 billion waifus, 1 man, a lot of action. So, we're gonna break it down first episode, update video, whatever. So hello everyone here, time for Shuumatsu no Harem, which is a horror anime. If you haven't figured that out, it's called Harem in its name, in its title. But anyway, this is horror anime then with the premise that it's straight up a hentai. It's like he's the only man alive, gotta smash, gotta reproduce the human race. So, you know, a horror anime. So basically, the premise here, I haven't read the manga right, but I know the premise, I've heard about it several times over the years. This is an anime about a guy that is like, I think he's gonna be frozen down in time or whatever, right, something like that. And when he wakes up, right, typical zombie apocalypse, he wakes up, all of the men are dead, except like, I think it's like 4 or 5 more men than him. So basically, you know, it's like 5 billion females, 5 guys, right, and they're gonna smash. They're gonna smash and smash. So, this sounds like the plot of a hen, straight up. And I don't know how it's gonna be really much more than that. Like, what can they do right with that? But anyway, that's the premise. Otherwise, this anime, unfortunately, has been delayed more than once, right? First, it was gonna air Saturday, is that? 2 weeks ago. That didn't happen, obviously, we're sitting here today. Today, episode 1 is out, which was we first impression reacted when the reviews on here, right? But then they have said already they're gonna like delay or whatever to next year. Second delay in a row then, right? And I think I heard a bit earlier, so who knows? Maybe it's gonna be cancelled. It's also obviously an anime that's gonna be having maybe, you know, censoring issues or so on, right? So I don't know, it's gonna be more than one version. I'm obviously watching it the TV version here, right? With, you know, no subtitles. So this is the Japanese version. So I guess they're gonna show everything, and maybe they're gonna then deliver different versions. So one reason maybe they're not gonna like, maybe a reason they delayed it or whatever, right? For this season. Might be because they didn't have time to like make 2 different versions, right? They need like a censored version. If that's gonna be a thing, I don't know. I heard there was some quality issues, right? Maybe they were. So I don't know. So I'm a little worried generally for that sense. Maybe we shouldn't take this too seriously. What I mean with that is that it's been delayed twice, right? So now they're saying, oh, it's back in like February or whatever, maybe January. You're like, okay, and then it's hitting near January and it's delayed again, right? So I don't know. Maybe this is the only thing we get. Probably unlikely, but they have still done 1 episode here. But also, as it is, right? When I was younger, and anime wasn't that big, and manga wasn't big and so on, right? These kind of shows were usually as OVAs, right? They weren't coming out on TV, because this is a very, very ecchi show. He's clearly gonna score a lot, right? I hope so at least. This is very, very much more plot heavy, right? The plot thickens, right? More than the usual are. So this feels to me like should be an OVA. OVAs you can show more, and you can show the oppa, you can show the actual action, right? So maybe they're gonna take that route. Would surprise me. Honestly, they make an episode 1 and then like actually let's make an OVA and release it whenever we want. Then we don't, because if they release it on a schedule, right? Because it's like a TV thing, they have to be more censored. If they release an OVA you can release anytime you want, and you have way less, you know, censorship then. So yeah, this is an anime that is probably better as an OVA. Straight up, right? Yeah, this is focus because I don't know. I haven't read the manga, but I've heard it's gonna be heavily edited, right, to be able to be an anime. You know what I mean? But if it was a manga, almost a hen manga going into an OVA, they can just keep everything, right? So yeah. So I'm saying that's too. Who knows? Anyway, some one thing for watch episode. I'm a huge fan of this comic, The Last Man, and I say it all the time. I don't have more Spider-Man behind me here, but you know I do actually read a lot of comics, right, from the West. I read all these Belgian comics, like, you know, Torgal. I love Torgal and Spirou and so on, right? Tintin, whatever. But Torgal is my favorite then, Belgian comic. Every time I'm in Brussels, I was looking at this Torgal store. It's a cool store in Brussels. You can buy these like Torgal figures and so on, right? So I was buying stuff there. I'm a huge fan of, especially then, again, as I said, Torgal is the best, I think, Western comic in my opinion. But anyway, The Last Man is also one of my huge favorites. So it's basically this storyline, but it's not a manga, you know? So in The Last Man, as you can the last man, right? Of course, his name is Y, the last man. He is obviously because of the Y chromosome, and I say Y. I don't know what Y is Swedish for Y. I don't know why, of course. But basically, it's a very, very similar premise, right? He's the main character. All the man is dead, but it's much more, people are trying to R him, trying to eat him, to survive and so on, right? So it's a really, really good comic. It's also the same author, Brian Vaughan, has also done Brian K. Vaughan, that also have done Saga. It's also really good, a space sci-fi thing. But the Y the Last Man, or sorry, Y the Last Man is basically this anime, but no ecchi. Yes, it's actually just not ecchi. There's no smashing and so on. That being said, though, it's the last thing before I watch the episode here. I hope it's actually smashed right. I don't want to watch a horror anime, which is supposed to be very ecchi. The main character having like a billion waifus, and he's still afraid of getting it done right. But I'm afraid that might be a real thing here, because I think the premise here is he's in love with one specific woman, right? I would hate to see this anime that he is the main character, surrounded by hundreds of waifus, trying to get some menus from him. He's like, but I'm in love with Erika-chan or something, right? And like, no, don't take my menus, and running around, avoiding all the females. Hopefully that's what's gonna happen. That probably will happen, honestly, though. And I will hate it, honestly, in a sense, because I could get by that if you have your, forced harem, right? In something like Tenshin Moyo or whatever. You have these alien waifus trying to smash you, but you will love one of them. You want to do Ryoku, she's the best waifu. You wanna, get her, right? But here, this is an anime where he's the only man alive. And I would feel it's even more, stupid if he's like, I will only give use to, Tomi-chan or whatever. Where you're like, but then everyone else gonna die. Like, you need to give use to, the other waifus. You can't only give use to Tommy or Erika, whatever her name is. I mean, Hitomi, yeah, doesn't matter. Eri-chan, doesn't matter. My point, of course, is that if I was the only man alive, this is not all about being thirsty, right? If I was the only man alive, I would also feel the need, like it sounds like a good need, but I'd be like, yeah, I probably should smash a lot of women, because or else the humanity dies. So, if anything, I mentioned Why the Last Man. I think Why the Last Man is really good, but that is honestly my biggest complaint about that comic book, because he has the premise. He's like in love with one woman. He wants to go to her, right, and make babies with her. That's one of his goals. But then he's surrounded by all these babes, right, trying to R him because they want to have babies, and he's like avoiding them. And generally it makes sense, because they're too, crazy. He's the only man alive, so they try to really enslave him. So it makes sense he's avoiding most of them. But he also has, like his teammates, right, like his female friends in this in that journey. And I would feel, why doesn't he, smash them, right? Because he needs to produce more, humans, right? Because he's like the only man alive. But in the storyline, yeah, I think he can actually give his use, and they can actually give birth to boys again. So he needs to do it. Yet he avoids doing that for most of the storyline, and that to me is stupid. That's my biggest complaint about Why the Last Man. Like, why doesn't he make more babies, right? Doesn't make any sense. Like, wouldn't you feel the need to do that? I mean, Rospirity being the only man alive, I'd be like, well, if I don't do it, humanity dies. Like, it's not about being horny. It's more about, if I don't do it, everyone dies, right? I mean, they're gonna die outright. It actually literally everyone dies, because if no one can have babies anymore, society actually collapsed, right? Because eventually everyone is too old, and if you get too old, you need people to take care of you, right? You need retirement home, right? So you need to have young people that can work with you, right, and run that stuff. So yeah, eventually everyone will die, and they will die sooner because no one can take care of them when they get too old, right? So yeah, he needs to start smashing, But anyway, let's watch the episode, and hopefully it's amazing and actual. So 3, 2, 1, and go. But yeah, I would hate to see that he's like, oh no, 1 billion waifus, and he runs away from them. It's like, no, I don't want to smash anyone. Okay, here we go. Some sound first. Okay, waifus everywhere. Yeah, I don't want to have fun time with waifus. Hopefully it's actually like, oh yeah, I got 1 billion waifus. See? He's like, don't touch me, waifu. You're too thirsty. Yeah, here we go. Oppas, yeah. You want some oppa, right? Yeah. Yeah, now it's like, who do you wanna smash? Here we go. But this is what I mean. He's like, he's only man used here, right? Freaking get some smashing, boy. That was not censored, so I mean, it wasn't like a big scene, but it was an op-eyes. But this is what I mean, because he's in love with one woman, though. So I hope it's just like a silly thing that he refuses to give views to anyone else, right? That would be really stupid. I'm just being a little bit like, too many animes, right? The main character has too many waifus, and he refused to be with anyone else except their first love interest. He's obviously in love with this woman here, obviously. She's pretty. I'm not saying she's pretty, right? I'm just saying that, you know, if you're the only man alive, you better make fun. But he's sick, of course. I mean, I know the premise. He has to like go to some, you know, sleep hibernation or whatever, right? He needs to go frozen solid for a few years or something to survive, and that's why he wakes up and everyone is dead. It's very zombie apocalypse, right? It's very typical for many books that the main character, same as been Walking Dead, the main character is in a coma and then he wakes up and everyone is dead, right? In the zombie apocalypse. So it's a very classic like dystopian storyline that the main character, you know, sleeps and then wakes up into that dystopian world, right? It's very, very cool because then as an author, you don't have to give the details how it happens. You kind of like, well, you were sleeping and during that time everyone died. You don't have to really give into like the details of seeing it happening. You just have to tell them it happened without giving, you know, full details. So that's a very, very common trope, right? That, yeah. But anyways, of course you have a little, oh, I love her and so on, but I think it's gonna lead into him getting frozen solid because he's like dying. Oh, she's gonna be hot probably in the future or something. No, I'm sorry, but come on, this little girl here, she's like, Onishan! She's gonna have like huge op-eyes probably in the future. And my dirty hand mind, I'm just like, oh no! This little like sister character, she's gonna be, you know, huge op-eye in the future, right? Yeah, she got some shape for op-eyes, she's gonna grow into big op-eyes. But he's obviously gonna sleep for like 5 or 10 years or whatever, right? So she's gonna be like massive when he wakes up, right? She's gonna be smashable. She's gonna be thirsty for it. They're probably gonna do it, man. They probably need to give her some use, right? I wonder how much it's gonna focus on the other characters. I mean, men. Because I think it's like 4 or 5 other men alive, right? So. Yeah, that guy might be alive. I don't know. But I just wonder if they're gonna focus on them, right? Yeah, so they got issues, and by... They can't cure him, I guess, right? In this timeline. So they're like, oh, we're gonna freeze you down and then you can, you know, be healed or whatever, yeah. This, I don't feel, doesn't matter that much, right? Yeah, come on, get to the op-eyes, guys. Get to the op-eyes. I feel the whole season has been like, come on, stop with the prologue, let's get to the op-eyes. No, but seriously, do we care? I don't want to be that guy, but do you care? Do I care? Does anyone care about this, how he got frozen down? I don't care about this stuff. I don't care. I understand. Yeah, whatever, he's in... But seriously, she's gonna be so thirsty. That his sister here, this Imoto-chan character, she's gonna want to smash him in the future. She's gonna be like, I need you, boy. Yeah, this is gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird. The Imoto's gonna be all like, yeah, let's do it. I'm just waiting for that moment. She's gonna be all super thirsty when it's up. Okay, that nurse there might definitely be a cat later. That's pretty pretty. Ah, here she is, I guess. His girlfriend. His true love interest. Elisa is her name. Yeah, Elisa-chan. His true love interest. I guess his name is Eric or something. I just guessed. I was like, he's probably named Erica or something. Yeah, okay, Elisa. Yeah, okay. I feel I was close there, very close. Yeah, I mean L is like, you know, L and R. Yeah, I was feeling I almost got it. Oh, Horde gives her his necklace. Oh, it's a love story. Remember me. And she, of course, won't be with any other man. Because they all die. Sorry. Because they all die. Oh, okay, I correct myself after. No, I'm sorry. I meant that she, of course, for example, similar to Tokyo Revengers, she's not gonna be with any other man, right? She's gonna keep that necklace and be like, I love him, and, you know, and not date anyone, right? Yeah, and just like, for example, Tokyo Revengers. And then obviously he's gonna But then eventually she won't have a choice anyway because Tolkien died, right? But yeah, so the first 5 minutes to see him dead, I guess that's pretty fine. Yeah, she's crying here, and I mean, she's obviously his actual. I mean, yeah, I will wait for you. I mean, yeah, I will wait for you forever. This is what I mean, though. She's his love interest. So don't get me wrong. This is good. This is actually pretty nice. Yeah, like it just tell us that they are actually in love. He's not just like a silly guy. It's like he's not. At least he's not just like, you know, in love with a woman that he doesn't even know, so to speak, right? Or what is like some kind of weird, you know, fantasy. She actually is his love interest. He actually did love him back, you know. So that's good. No, but I mean, it could be that I was like, oh, a man used. Yeah, all those girls are like, whoa. Oh god, pee. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, those nerfs are like, oh, we're gonna do it. They're like, we are laughing because we need to close up. They're like, you touch me, boy. So there are a lot of lesbians in this future here. What else can they do, right? She's like, you probably take a shower, man. It's gonna be a lot of people who wants you. Yeah, this doctor here, she's also like, she's like huge oppies. Holy shit, she's huge oppies. Her oppies are like massive, yeah. But I mean, she's like, whoa, you're pretty healthy, boy. Yeah. Of course, she's like, oh man. Yeah. But he doesn't know yet clearly that she's the only man there, right? She clearly wants some of the use there. She's like, as a doctor, I have to, you know, verify that your equipment works. But this is really a hem plot. I mean, she's like, I'm your doctor now, and I have to, you know, verify that you can produce. Yeah, she's like, I feel she's gonna try some, right? Like, why wouldn't she? He's the only man there, right? She's doing it for the human race. This really is a hem plot straight up. Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, everyone wants him, which makes sense. Yeah, all these, like, I don't know, they're like bodyguard because he's so valuable, of course, he can produce, you know, the stuff. Should you just tell him this stuff? Why don't you tell him the truth here? Like, okay, maybe she's finally now gonna tell him. He walks up in a hen plotline. Yeah. You are now the hen main character. This is the hen gaka now, not the mangaka character. No, because he's like, why do you have these guards and limousine for me? Like, oh, you're the only man alive in the whole continent. Oh, I see. Well, okay, let's see if shock here then. I like how she's ridiculously big oppi too. No, but I mean, it's fun that, of course, every female cat is very attractive too. Yeah, they all have like very, I suppose, mostly MILF proportions. Yeah, they're huge oppis, they're kind of bigger than him. He's kind of young, right? Most of them seem to be older than him. Yeah, he's like a teenager, and they're like, he's like 18 or something, right? Roughly that age, and yeah, or they're like in their 30s, 40s, most of them. So, yeah, of course. No, but this really is a crazy plot line where, okay, so now you can see here everyone is a woman. Yeah, the Sekai, the whole world is only females. Here we go. Funny! You're looking at me, right? I think this makes sense, though. Yeah, this makes sense. He's like, well, what? Yeah, this makes sense. Who would actually believe this, right? If you woke up, oh, this is bad, though. He's probably gonna get R'd now. Hopefully they're gonna try to R him, right? Because why wouldn't they? So this is what I mean. If it's like why the last man, all the women try to, you know, to R him, right? Yeah. A man! Oh, she's afraid of him, instead? I thought she would try to, you know, get some use, right? Get some power there, some powder, yeah. Well, these are probably gonna try to R him, because why wouldn't they? They have the Belkun life, so be like, what's happening? Oh yeah, they're all gonna get thirsty, man. He's like, oh, wait a minute. Exactly! Too many waifus! He's gonna get like, oh shit. That is the problem, though, obviously, being in this life, though. It's not like a perfect life being the only man, because obviously you're mostly gonna be surrounded by people trying to smash you, right? You're gonna have like, they're gonna be crazy going after your use. They're gonna want that, you know, the flesh there, so. If anything, these women around them are too calm. I wish they were a little more, I wish they attacked him more. Yeah, honestly, disappointed. Like I mentioned earlier again, Avoid the last man, he basically, they're like, get him! They're like, ah! Right, yeah. They try to like, get his use right, no matter what, right? I feel this woman around him should try to, you know, awe him basically. Yeah, they should be a little more aggressive on it, right? Like the woman next to him, they should be like, ah, yeah, man. So that could be better here. I wish these waifus were a little more into him, honestly, right? Because that's probably what would happen in reality. If you suddenly had the only man alive in the whole continent, you probably would be very willing to kidnap him, right? To get him or whatever. It's the only way to get babies. Okay, so now he might finally get he's the only man alive, but yeah, this I can live with. Like, finally, this is what I mean. Yeah, she's gonna like, but that's good. More people should do this shit. Yeah, good. More people should be like, Otoko, yeah, Otoko, yeah. They should be more trying to get him, right? If they all attack him, but if they all bomb rush him, they can easily defeat those 2 guards. Though it's like 2 guards. Yeah, she's like, you're our king now. You're the only man alive, right? It's the ultimate man fantasy. In a way, it's the ultimate man fantasy. You're our king and savior. You know, you are Messiah. Please take us all in the bedroom, you know. Yeah, they're all like, whoa, give us your uses, boy. But I think it's fair though in the beginning here that he wouldn't accept it, right? Because after you accept that you're the only man alive, then you should probably start smashing, right? But until that point, like the first few days or whatever weeks, you will be so shocked. Like, what? Everyone's dead. My father is dead. My mother is dead. You will be so shocked. In the beginning, you will be mentally shocked, right, by knowing that all your male friends and family are dead. My mother is dead, my father is dead, you know, my best friend is dead. So, in the beginning, you would be like, what's happening? Well, everyone's dead, everyone alive died, I mean, of the Myrmonden. Yeah. So, in the beginning, you would be like, oh, where am I, right? And you probably would just be like, yeah, I wanna smash. You would probably be like, what? So, I think that's fine that he's not right now trying to get some girls, because, yeah, he would be obviously very shocked seeing that, you know, yeah, all of his family members are dead and so on, right? So no, this I think is fine. This is fine from an actual, thirst level, right? But after this though, like episode 2 or something, he should really get thirsty and be like, oh yeah, I got 50 billion waifus. Let's get going, girl. Yeah, like hopefully he's gonna, you know. I'm just saying that because I feel that's the lack of these animes, and it's usually a lack of these animes. The first second though, we did saw some op-eyes. The first second, that was the only kind of, non-censored scene. It's kind of weird though that he survived generally, just because he was in the kind of sleeping op-eyes. The ankles is ahead of course it's like, you want some boy? Yeah, of course she's trying to, you know, milk it, right? Yeah, she's like, you want it? Come on, boy! But I'm in love with Lisa-san! Only Lisa I will do! This will be probably obviously. That's how any woman would stand over a table. But she's not trying to get some. That's just how women act, yeah. If you haven't seen it, guys, around me at least, every woman does the same thing, yeah. This is how every female is. Every woman acts like that around a table. You cannot bend over except with your oppas on a table. This actually isn't an ecchi thing at all. But yeah, hopefully he actually is gonna just, you know, man up, so to speak, and you know, do it with all of them. No, but as I mentioned earlier, genuinely, I really hope he actually is, you know, be a man about it, right? And you know, no, but honestly, he should really man up, right? I don't want to see the main character. I feel I said it. I'm sorry, I've said it like 10 times now. Yeah, but I just, you know what I mean. I'm so afraid that the main character here is gonna avoid. But this is interesting, yeah. So now he gets like to give him basically, you know, like a little thing here, right? He can be like sit there and Tinder, but for him it's like you smash them all. He's like bam, 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 bam. For him it's just like, who would you wanna smash tonight, right? Yeah, he's just like a smash Tinder. For him it's like, here she is, Imoto-san, and I told you she's gonna be one of his waifus. I told you. Yeah, I told you she's gonna grow up and huge op-eyes. I called it. She's gonna grow up and get massive op-eyes. But yeah, so they're all in this kind of coma instead like he was then, so dad's in a coma. So I guess they could maybe revive people or something. But is ever in a coma though? I mean, it's said it earlier, sure, but I was talking about one thing. There's no way every man can be in a coma suit, though, because there's no way they have the equipment to have, like, you know, a billion men, right? So certainly only the rich people or whatever could be in this, like he was, yeah. There's no way, like, half the population can be, like, the Matrix, right? They would be basically putting everyone in the Matrix. But yeah, of course his sister is absurdly, you know, low-cut dressed here. His sister is, like, the most visually... His sister is looking, yeah, emotional. Aero manga says it's style. Yeah, but I freaking called it. The sister's gonna be hugely uphied and be thirsty as hell, and of course the sister is gonna be like, yeah, Onishan, you're the only man in this country. Like, come on. Of course she's part of the waifu circle. I love showing her buttocks, yeah. Animes and angles. But actually, why does she have something in her face though? It doesn't make any. Is she not wearing any clothes? Like, why? Who would do this thing? Who would like call someone on, you know, on Zoom or whatever? Yeah, and have the camera in your mouth. Who calls someone and does that thing? Why is she? I don't want to do it with the camera. You know, why is she camming like that? You know, why is she having the camera in her face for? I don't want to do that. But yeah, I don't need to see my mouth. Yeah, but you get my point. That doesn't make any sense, honestly. Why is she calling her manager? And her manager is like, I have the camera up in my mouth. This is how I talk to people. I have the camera, the microphone, and the camera has to be here. You know, like what's wrong with her? That didn't make any sense at all. That makes less sense than him not smashing his waifus. Here we go. Now she's like, it's my time to milk you. You haven't milked anyone yet? Here we go. Are they gonna show it? No, yeah, they are actually. Okay, so they're gonna be sent. Okay, yeah, they're actually gonna show it. But this anime is, yeah, her oppas are massive. They're actually going for it. Yeah, I didn't think they were gonna. No, I don't know how this, you know, how is this anime. This, I mean, yeah, how are they gonna do this on like Crunchyroll or whatever? They're gonna have to like remove this whole scene, right? They're doing the Tokyo Revenge thing where they just like black screen or show the moon or something instead. But he's gonna be like, no, I can only sleep with my girlfriend from the past, and even though all other men are dead. Oh, he's doing that shit that I hope he was gonna do. He pushes her away. This huge oppa lady appears, and he's like, get off, you thirsty skank. I only want the Elisa-san. Yeah, it takes her out. Ah, it's so ridiculous. Yeah. No, this, I don't buy it, you know. I never buy that you have... But it's probably her, just to say the same though. Yeah, it's just her being a MILF, right? Yeah, isn't that more that she is Elisa? She just looks different because she's older, but whatever. But yeah, she's called another waifu of his. Yeah, another, you know, thirsty one. And she can like wear some kind of transparent clothing for some reason. And she walks around with her bra, yeah, I don't know. Like, but this is so stupid. This wasn't what I was afraid of. I mean, sure, it's like the first week or something. I guess that the episode 1 still. So it's more believable. But not really that believable because, again, right, it's never really believable that the main character refuses to smash. He's the, you know, he's the waifu squad. But so it's how episode started, of course. Some random onsen. It's like, who do you wanna pick, boy? It's really a hand plot, like, come on. She's like, who do you wanna pick tonight? Pick any woman. Take 10 of them, 20 of them. Everyone gets, pick anyone, yeah. Just pick whoever you wanna fill up, boy. Yeah. Who do you wanna smash? Yeah, it's like, who do you want tonight? It's like, yeah, okay. This really is a hand plot, yeah. Who do you want? Now he's like, oh no, I'm surrounded by oppas. Do you want the Chinese one, the Japanese one? What do you want? Do you want do you want the very much like you need to mate, boy. Like, do you want to go? You need to go cross, you know. You need to fill up all the different people too. You need to have, you know, some. He needs to, you know, go for all the different how say it, you know, demographics, right? Yeah, I need to fill up everyone. You need to like. You need to have a shy one, an aggressive one. You need to also get, you know, make sure that the different personality types get babies. You need to pick the different mower types, right? You have a job to do, boy. Because yeah, the world is gonna die otherwise. This is what I mean. He can't say no to this thing. They would be like murdering the human race, right? That's why I said earlier, I like why the last man, but he's so afraid of making babies. It doesn't make any sense. You need to make babies, man. Exactly, you need to produce some babies. Like, would you be the last woman alive or otherwise around and refuse to make babies and just kill the human race? I mean, maybe someone would if they're like, I hate everyone. Yeah, maybe. But if you were the last woman alive, wouldn't you also probably feel the need to like get babies? Of course, in that sense, then you could pick the man you want, right? You could like, who do you want to make babies with? You would have the options probably to pick whoever you want to. But at the same time, it would be kind of weird if you were the last woman alive and would just be like, I don't want to have babies at all. I'm gonna stay a virgin forever. But okay, so everyone's not died on that. Great. Of course, it's better in this way than for one man can make a lot of ladies, pregnant. So it's definitely better for the survival of mankind in this way around, of course. I need to make babies. It sounds good, okay. Maybe it's finally gonna man up, yeah. But I want to make babies with her, because I'm an idiot. And you see a lot of other girls. Can you just pick some girl? She looks kind of like her. Just pick this woman here. She's kind of similar to your girlfriend. Pick her. You need to mate, boy. You need to pick the girls in their, when they have, depending on, their, the menstrual cycle. Yeah, yeah. They need to pick them in the good times, right? Yeah, this one is good. Now she's gonna give birth soon. Yeah. Okay, this might be the opening, maybe the ending. But yeah, certainly they're gonna have to cut away like 2-3 minutes of the. So in like Tokyo Revengers, where they had like the whole show the moon for like 3 minutes. Yeah, it's like here's the image of the moon for 3 minutes when they fought. Right, they were like, great way to remove screens that you can't show here. It's like look at the moon for 3-4 minutes. Oh, it's awesome! What a great anime. I mean, the least issue of Tokyo Revengers, but certainly happened in that anime. They would just show some random screen right for a few minutes, and it wasn't very good in that sense. It's a Shibi one, of course, and some red top, and obviously his sister is part of the WAIFUS. So yeah, that's like maybe the last person he should try to make stuff happen with. But still, though, he's the only man in her life, right? Like, what can she do? Like, but maybe you can send your sister to one of the other men. It's supposed to be like 4 other guys alive or something. Maybe you can send your sister to one of them. Yeah, here's the ending here. Here we see a few other men there with glasses. And I like a wife with huge oppas. So kind of warrior wife. Her oppas were ridiculously big. She had oppas bigger than her body. Like the last wife, her oppas were massive. They all have huge wife. They all have like really big, kahunas, right? They all have really big kahunas. But it is kind of weird, honestly. I mean, I know it's anime, but it is a little weird. I feel honestly a little cringe. I'm gonna be that guy, even though I love animes. But I do feel it because here in the last part, we do of course see, I guess, his main waifus, right? Like this, like the white hair tomboy girl, the chibi one, the huge op-eyed kind of sensitive character, right? And then of course his sister. So it's a little bit like, like he's the main love interest he's gonna have. These 5 waifus, or the first 5 he's gonna pregnant, I guess, or something. And the sister is one of them. I mean, I'm just saying, Imoto is part of that. Like, couldn't he pick maybe 5 other prime waifus? Like maybe not his Imoto. It does feel a little weird that he's like, yeah, that one. That he's gonna definitely be one of my. If you have to pick, one of my prime waifus, the Imoto is maybe not Imoto. I'm just throwing it out there. I know it's anime, and holy shit, she's huge. She even looks like she doesn't wearing a bra, but she is. It's just she's so big. I don't even show the scene with the blonde woman. The blonde woman has oppas that are going down here, right? Her oppas are they're so big, but the fun thing because it's anime, instead of the oppas being, they're still gonna put on they're still standing. Her oppas are half her body's oppa, right? Holy shit, she's big. Her oppas are so big she can barely carry them with her her oppas are so massive. But anyway, you see a few other guys in the opening ending here. Yeah, you see a few other guys. For some reason, they all have glasses. I'm just dropping it out there, but the 3 of them and they all have glasses. I think. There's one other guy we see. I think 3 of them have glasses. I don't know why. What are they glasses for? It's only men with glasses surviving the apocalypse. Should note that and get glasses. Yeah, okay. Point taken there. Get glasses. But anyway, so there is of course some fan service scenes or whatever you want to call it, right? You do this one scene with her that is very visual, definitely, when she enters his room, right? I mean, this in here is fine. Like you don't really see the oppies, you know, in a detail yet. I mean, this is fine. Like this is nothing special. This you see way worse in other animes. I mean, this is nothing special at all. But after this, she actually picks them off, right? And you do see the oppies, but you don't see any actual, you know, there's nothing actually happening, right? So it doesn't feel like they're gonna go further than that. Like, yeah, because she, you know, shows her body type kind of thing. But to show you, of course, still on under that though. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna go further than what we saw here, though. Honestly. But yeah, the main character just kicked her out of his bedroom, and that seems ridiculous. I hate that in this anime, and that's what I'm afraid of, right? Because as I mentioned earlier, of course, a few times, I always find that so silly. In any harem show, he's like, no, I have my one love interest, Elisa-chan, that I met 10 years ago, and I cannot produce with any other female, you know. That's kind of how he presents that, right? As I was afraid of. But that's always silly, right? It's always silly that you have the main character be so afraid of his harem. For example, last it's about Moonlight Fantasy, and he has this spider wife with dragon wife and so on. They are incredibly attractive, and he's like, oh, I want waifus, no, right? And he's just kind of silly. Here, though, he's the only man alive, of course. We said it like Metal Alive, that's the premise, right? And yeah, then she's like, but you need to make babies. Or else we're gonna die. Have you seen Sight out there? The poor people can't survive, right? We need to make more, you know, new child, or else Sight's gonna collapse. Right? We need to have, you know, young people doing the more manual labor and so on. As I mentioned earlier, in like, you know, just generally, you need to make new babies. You know how a pension works, right? You need to have young people coming into the workforce so they can produce labor, whatever that labor is, but especially physical labor has to be not only, but mostly produced by the young people, right? And that's why you have usually younger people working at, you know, McDonald's or whatever, right? You need to have the younger people doing, you don't need it to, you can have robots, but like, in general theory, you need to have younger people enter the workforce, not only doing manual labor, but to a larger extent, of course, the younger individuals are going to do manual labor, right? So like the 8 people in the old age, right? So there's also a reason why you need to make babies generally, because you need the younger people to do the manual labor stuff. And then, of course, later on, when people get too old, you need to have, you know, retirement and so on, right? Or people might just die, of course, anyway. I mean, I guess in society, because half the society has died, I suppose they could just ignore old people and let them die, right? I mean, yeah, I guess technically they could just let anyone over like 70 just die. Like, if you can't work, they just kill them. I suppose. Logan's Run. If you ever read Logan's Run, it's also a movie, of course. Logan's Run, they kill everyone over, I think it's 32, something like that, something weird. Maybe it's even younger. I always say it's like 32 for some reason. But it's something like that. In Logan's Run, they kill off everyone that is older than like 30, whatever, yeah. Like they have an age, right? And of course, Logan is one of these people then, that are hunting people, right? They have to kill off, then he gets too old, and he escapes instead, and he discovers the truth, right? And so on. And it's 3 books, and they go to the moon and shit, and it gets weird. But basically, they're living in one city, right? And he gets outside the city in the end, and there's like actually people living outside. You don't have to die when you're 30 and so on, right? But basically, the idea of Logan's Run is that they kill everyone over like 30, so they have risks, right? So they have like so they don't have to take up too much research. But it doesn't make any sense though in Logan's Run, because clearly him and other people can still work at 30. Yeah, the issue with Logan's Run, I think actually, honestly, I don't want to sit here and talk about Logan's Run too much, but it's comparable to this anime, I guess. There is an issue with Logan's Run, I think, is fundamentally that they are killing off people at 30, roughly, something, I don't know, but something like that. And that I think is definitely an issue with that story, right? Because people at 30 can still definitely work. I mean, at 30, you're still pretty young, yeah. Like, you're not like gonna be useless for society. You can still make babies, so on, you know, yeah, it's just really silly. That I think is a huge issue with the premise of Logan's Run. Otherwise, it's a good book, but that thing is definitely an issue. It shouldn't be like 60 or something, you know what I mean? Like, it should be like, okay, you have had your best days, you know, ahead of you. You kind of worked hard. You get into like 55 or 60, and then they kill you off, right? Because now you're getting slower and so on. But you're 30, you still can definitely be at peak performance. You can still do, you know, your labor, right? And of course, generally, like, it's going back to Stone for that matter, right? Thank you. When you're getting older, you also have more experience and skill. So yeah, again, Logos Run isn't, the premise itself doesn't make much sense, because it's like, well, if you're 40, you're probably better at the job than a 30-year-old guy, so you still probably want to keep them anyway. You know what I mean? But I do think it's fair if the argument is we have to kill everyone at like 65 or 70, whatever, or 60, whatever, because we don't have the research. Like basically, we have no pension, we have no retirement. If you stop working, we kill you. That kind of like crazy retirement issue kind of idea, right? There's no pension, basically, right? Yeah, I can see that argument from like a dystopian. I'm not saying we should do it in reality. I'm just saying, like, if you had a dystopian future, like here then, where all men have died, right? And they decide that every female that is like cannot work, right, or is too old to give birth to whatever, like she's like 65, whatever, you can't give birth anymore, they just kill you in this like dystopian, you know, you're the only man alive kind of thing. That would logically maybe be the right to do, right? You know what I mean? They would actually refuse to take care of the old people, and the only woman that can be alive have to work and also try to reproduce more people with him, right, and a few other men. That could be like this crazy solution that might be implemented to, you know, make mankind survive. I'm not saying it's the best solution. I'm just saying that that could be a rule that I could see them, you know, put in, right, in this kind of society, for example. But otherwise, that's what I'm coming back to here again. He needs to forget about his, you know, his girlfriend, right, in the beginning, because it's just so silly. That, again, if I was living in this society, if I was one of the few only men alive, that's pretty awesome. I mean, generally, yeah, it's a hand plot, right? It's a hand plot, yeah. But if ignoring the actual etch stuff with, I would understand that if I don't make babies, and I mean, I understand it immediately, as soon as I accept that this is a reality, right? As soon as I accept that my father, my brother, and so on is dead, and I get over, you know, the sadness and the shock, right? Or maybe they are in that kind of the Matrix thing, but whatever, right? Yeah. Basically, after I accept the shock of my family being dead, right? Now I'm in this reality here, this is a new society, I would absolutely just smash constantly, basically. Right? Not because I'm like, yeah, I'm thirsty, but just because I would understand that if I don't do that, if I ignore my first love, right? But whatever, I can smash her too eventually, yeah. I need to do it because, as I mentioned, otherwise society is gonna collapse because no one's gonna be able to do this, you know, all this manual labor of, as I mentioned, right? No one's gonna be able to found pensions. So otherwise, if I don't smash and make new people, no one can retire, right? If they retire, we will have to use executor, basically, right? Yeah. Okay, society is not going to be able to, you know, control the flow of, like, people not working and so on, right? So, like, because there is no young people coming into the workforce, right? Yeah, because no one, in this society, no new people can enter the workforce. That's why it's going to collapse, right? I mean, certainly, some people are still not like adults yet. We see some girl, right, when he's on the street. Sorry. Certainly, some people are still growing up. To be fair, there are some people that are still going to be able to enter the workforce. In this image here, most of them are grown ups though. But sure, certainly it's like a woman. That woman standing behind one woman, she's maybe like a teenager, right? So yeah, I mean, sure, some people here, like his sister, they're still kind of like young. They're like, you know, 18, 20, whatever, yeah. Some people are gonna be able to enter the workforce. But look at this, he's on the street here, right? There's only one person here that is basically not an adult. Maybe the girl holding her hands too, but she also might be a love interest, like a jury, yeah. I mean, probably most of them would be lesbians, right? Because no man alive, right? Yeah, so they kind of just, you know, gonna smash girls, right? So yeah, on the street here, it's only one person, I would say then, only one individual, that she's not a grown woman, right? Everyone else, I would say, is like, you know, young female or, you know, old female, yeah, up 20 plus, right? And the other one, she's like 15, 16, right? Yeah. So if he doesn't make more babies, they're not gonna have anything working because they need to have young people doing something, right? You know what I mean? As I talked about. Whereas the pension is gonna destroy itself, no manual labor is gonna not work, right? So they're all gonna die, you know, from lack of basic stuff, you know, like your system working, food shortage, right? Production, that stuff. I mean, obviously this is the future, so they have better tech, right? So they can produce some things, but in the end, nothing's gonna work out, right? I mean, and I think the anime makes that pretty good, actually, in a sense. I think that's good in the anime. Definitely a good feel of the anime. That's a good part of that anime. That I'm trying to find a good image here, but like no, but like the society has kind of not collapsed, but obviously society has a lot of issues. So when he's on the street, you do see that it's like, this, stuff is destroyed. This one scene here, I guess, there's some kind of food bank or something where people are. Yeah, here we go. I mean, this is what I mean, right? The society is gonna collapse because who's gonna do all this different labor, right? So obviously the shit is going down. They have better technology than we do, so that reason stuff is still like better retained. If it happened on Earth today, right, it would be worse. This is in the future, so they have better like stuff they can like automate and so on. But again, I really hope this episode, he did of course in the end was like, maybe I have to make babies then, but you have a point, right? I really hope he's gonna, I said it like so much, sorry, but I just find this to be the most obnoxious issue, right, with horror animes, that the main character has so many hot waifus, yet he never scores. And here, this guy also doesn't score. He avoided scoring with this huge op-eyed MILF. He avoided his hot MILF, even though he's the only man alive. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense, because he just saw how society is crumbling, right? Of having no babies, no one can join, blah blah blah. All the things I covered, like, no pension founding, manual labor, so one shortage of this stuff. Yeah, he's seeing no one can enter the workforce again, right? So he's seeing how society is just collapsing, and he is the man with he has the power to save society. And yet he's like, no, I need my little love interest from my girlfriend, You get my point. I think it's just ridiculous. I don't think anyone would ever do it in reality. I don't think anyone would ever do this. I think that you would have massive possibility, right, to produce new babies. So you would be... It's one thing, though, and I think the episode should have done it better, honestly. It's one thing, though, that you don't want to go out on the street and you smash anyone that lives, because this shit happened to you, right? You probably would die from doing that, because so many women would be crazy and they'd be like, be pissed, yeah. So, of course, he can't just go out on the street and be like, I got a wiener, because then everyone will jump him and be like, milk, right? And he will probably die. He will probably be auto death, right? You can't just go out on the street and like offer him his seed, right? Because then they would just gang him too rough, right? Probably, like seriously, right? Yeah. He would probably die from that. He has to make it like, in a smart way, right? Like take a few ladies per day, right, kind of thing. Yeah, I can't just like go in there and die, because he probably would die, right? And again, I mentioned earlier, but why the last man? That is a part of that story, right, that I think is good in that storyline, because he's the only man alive, seemingly, right, and he has to avoid being in different places, because in several of those chapters in different cities, right, people are really trying to gang all him to death, right, because they're like, get him, we need his use, and try to capture him and try to bind, enslave him and so on, yeah. Because that probably would happen, right? Not everyone would do that, but a lot of people would, right? So this woman here, yeah, I think, if anything, I would say that's the biggest episode, though. I mean, I like the episode generally, but this is the biggest probably episode that. The episode was fine, I think, generally, except of course that he didn't smash the massive, waifu in the bedroom. That doesn't make sense. And then of course you see too, right? That he's like, I don't know. This woman makes a lot of sense. I'm just saying that more females should be like her. Yeah, I think that's very fair complaint here. That to me was kind of stupid. I think this in here actually was pretty poor. I think it'd be a lot better, right, if she attacks him. She's like, man! She attacks him, and then you see the other women around her, because he's surrounded by 20, 30 other people, right? And some of them are like, oh yeah, he got the man use. You see the other woman also being like, oh yeah, let's freaking go. You see, they're all like, oh yeah, let's freaking do it, right? They're all considering owning him, right? Yeah, all of them are like, yeah, let's freaking own him together, girls. This in here, I think, should have been a lot better, because because this is kind of when the first woman attacks him, right, and tries to own him, the other woman will probably also try to do it too, right? Because it's kind of like a bystander effect. When she jumps at his joint, the first one, the other ones are probably gonna be like, I can do the same thing, right? And they're also probably gonna jump at him too. So while the lady guard woman, she kind of beat up the first woman, right? She kind of beat up her, right? But there are only two of them. So what if all these 20, 30 waifus would all jump them? Obviously they would win, right? And they would get him. So what I would have written here is, of course, that they would all jump at him or try to run after him, right? He would run away and be like, shit, this is crazy, get into the car and, and escape. that what I expect to happen here. So I'm actually disappointed. This scene actually disappointed me genuinely. It actually genuinely disappointed me because, yeah, like I don't understand why the author just didn't make them all run after him. Right? I mean, I'm not saying he should capture him. Obviously, I'm not saying they should capture him. I'm not saying he should, be captured and be, straight up a hen, right? Because there are obviously hens that are this storyline 100% where only man is alive and he keeps getting awed by the woman. I mean, I have seen many hen that have this plotline, right? And and the woman captured them and it actually happens, right? Like that is not like uncommon story whatsoever. And then it actually does look kind of uncomfortable, right? Like the ladies tie them up them in someone, right? Yeah. Or maybe use stuff up there. So yeah, so I'm not saying that should have happened. Then it would go into some kind of weird, hand stuff, and it would be kind of like I don't want to see that. So that, of course, I point out that my point isn't that I think this should have happened. I'm just saying that these other ladies should have tried, right? They should have tried. I think this scene generally I felt is pretty bad because after one of them jumps him and it's like 20-30 more there. And they all are looking very thirsty. They all stare. I mean, we keep seeing all of them wanting to smash, right? We're seeing all of them like, oh man, yeah. We're seeing all of them being so thirsty. They really should have all been like, let's freaking do it, right? So yeah, that scene, honestly, I feel the whole street scene, I'm sounding very negative, but I think the rest of the episode was fine. But the whole street scene was very poor because they should have been so much more after him. They should have been like, man. He should have been like, they're all trying to harm me. I really felt that was like a very nonsense scene. He goes up there, he runs out on the street. He's the only man they have seen in like 10 years. And they're like, man. But no one talks to him, no one interacts with him. Like, why are these ladies just like staring at him? And they're, getting all like, I wanna smash him, but no one talks to him, no one interacts with him whatsoever. Only that one single woman tried to awe him and she got stunned, right? But no one else did anything. And he runs past like, 30, 40, 50 females, and no one does anything. Yeah, this is a very poor scene. Man, that's a super negative. No, but honestly, this is what I mean, where, again, then, I keep mentioning it, but why The Last Man is much better written, seriously. It's a very, very similar premise, right? But that comic makes this scene is believable, right? He cannot go out on the street because every woman tries to awe him. He has to wear a mask, he has to hide his, how he looks, so right. In the beginning of that comic, when he leaves out on the street, not knowing kind of what's happening, right? The women are like, awe him. He's like, yeah. He's like, what is happening? They're trying to awe me. Yeah. He's getting like the shit. Like he's like, oh my god, they're trying to get me, no matter what, right? Then he's like, he started wearing like a gear and so on to hide his, he's a man, right? He's like, getting all that stuff, right? To, make sure that they don't know he's a man, and so on. All of that I'm lacking here, right? And that's what this anime, unfortunately, in the end, I'm gonna say, this must be a great anime, right, from an ecchi standpoint, but I wish it actually dwelled on these issues in a better way. It might do it later, right? It might talk about issues later, how to make babies and so on. I've heard this anime is posted in the manga that it's supposed to actually be pretty well written and actually have the issues of like not having babies and pension collapsing and labor collapsing and so on. I've heard this manga actually go into that, so I am looking forward to it actually dwelling on that stuff in a proper way. But this in here, though, in my opinion, obviously objectively speaking, honestly, right, it is pretty poor because this should have been way stronger. He should have been hunted by this woman. They should have tried to awe him. He should have done the hen route. They should have flipped up their oppa. He should be like, and run away and screaming in fear, right? Of getting, by all these ladies. That's what I expect to happen here. How it actually would happen in reality. So, I don't know. I wish this was a lot stronger, I guess. Otherwise, the episode is fine. Of course, he's gonna be afraid of smashing her. But I think it actually, in the end, though, I think he's afraid of her, of smashing her, right, in the beginning. And that is silly. It definitely is silly, but then it kind of, at least he kind of has that moment where he's like, you know what, maybe I do need to smash all the ladies. Yeah, he has like a reflective, she shows him this list of like, Tinder smash, and he's like, I guess I need to make some babies. So yeah, I have to say I like how it ends, because even though I hated how he kicks her out, right, but again, that is really silly. At least he ends with being like, I guess I need to make babies. So he kind of has that scene here when he talks to her again, right? She shows him the look at the smash list. Look, smash them all. He gives him like the get the Tinder and just like swipe right there wrong. They're all gonna say yes, do smash. And he's like, I guess I gotta do it. Yeah, so he's kind of like accepting reality at the end at least. So episode 2 I think could be a lot better when he's actually gonna like try to maneuver who he has to pregnant, right? Because I mean it might actually be interesting to just not from an ecchi standpoint, but actually following a guy trying to repopulate the Earth and being like, oh, I mean there actually could be some interesting lore or storyline here. He's like, well, okay, I need to make babies. I can pick any woman I want. He can be like, well, I want to have a doctor. I want to have a baby. I want to have the mom that's intelligent. I'm going to go after this woman. This woman here is very, very well trained. She's very fit, right? Like a massive tomboy, muscular athlete. Maybe I should be babies with her. It actually could be a very interesting storyline. He has to, like, you know, maneuver who should he pregnant first, right? And try to avoid like the lesser quantity and so on. Yeah, that could be interesting, honestly. You could actually really dwell on that, or how would you actually repopulate the Earth if you could, you know, impregnate any woman you want, but who will you start with? He's like, my Imoto. I don't know about that, man. Yeah, he's like, Imoto in the Harem? Yeah, this is kind of weird, man. Why would you pick that? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he clearly has like 5 waifus there in the end, in the opening. Like one of them is like a tomboy or something, you know, muscular. So, you know, yeah, maybe he has some kind of, he's trying to breed with the correct different selection, right? And different, you know, hair color and so on. Yeah, it could be interesting. He's like, I need to have a red head, a green head, you know, I need to have a blue, yeah, I need to have every, you know, black, brown, yeah. I need to have every woman of this thing and this thing. So it could be interesting. I mean, genuinely, I'm saying it. This is kind of a setting there in the end to him. She's like showing him the list, right? Kind of giving him the general the brief of like, you know, you're gonna smash them, you know, take a white woman, a black woman, and you know, take this and this. He's kind of like, you know, think about diversity and think about diversity of both, like, you know, not just race, but also, I guess, like, you know, personality and, you know, skill set or something, right? Yeah, skill set. It's like building a crew here. Yeah, building a baby crew, baby maker, you know, 101. Yeah, oh, you wanna mate with like this very muscular woman, and she's gonna be like, you know, this hair color red. Okay, that's good. We need more redhead ginger babies, and there's like a lot of. I think there's a lot of potential here, honestly. It could be really funny and also kind of interesting. I mean, from like a philosophy standpoint, really could be a lot of that. Obviously, I'm just throwing out my own ideas here for this kind of setting, but yeah, like that. I was saying that definitely could be a thing where he's like, well, I need to make baby with a ginger lady, right? I need to have a redhead, and I need to have this thing and so on. There is a lot of like potential here for actual. I think some actual. Interesting society there, and then it's hidden to that. But on the same time, though, we have the scene where he's on the street and no one reacts, and they're just like, "Oh, a man, I'm getting on thirsty, but I'm not gonna do anything." It's like, that one woman, she was the hero that we deserved. Yeah, she was the woman we should have had. You know, he's the one. You should have more of her. Yeah. But anyway, that's the episode, guys. Long review here. But I really think it's an interesting setting, right? Like, I just like break down the setting here, because it really is a lot of things you can do with this thing, right? And as I mentioned, of course, I've read similar. This is not the first time I've seen this kind of wife setting, right? And yeah, sometimes to go the very, you know, brutal route where the girls like really enslaves them and take them up and so on, right? Sometimes go the, you know, the harem king route. He's like one king, you know, 55,000 wives, right? You smash them all, right? And has infinite, you know, man used to give, right? And so more of the times to my goes. There's a lot of possibilities to go here. Now then, I'm gonna guess again though. As I mentioned even before I saw it, I think one reason why they're delaying is because it is supposed to go then, you know, on like whatever. I don't know what TV show or whatever, like Funimation or Crunchyroll, they're the same company now, but whatever, you know, who's gonna actually like show it outside of Japan. I don't know who's gonna do that, but I could imagine that being an issue that I mentioned earlier, because yeah, they have to probably remove like maybe 3 minutes or something of the episode, right? If they're gonna have to censor that, or at least do some kind of, you know, mosaic or whatever, right? Or just remove the scene completely, like I took Revenge, just completely remove the scene. Think about explicit reviewers when they had this live episode. They had to use like, they just blacken out. They just like put like a black screen, right? they just removed in Interplicit Reviewers, episode 3, they just did this thing, right? They just like, they just blackened it out. Yeah, they were like, there's like a slime scene, right? When they gender bender, but they become females. And the elf, she then goes to the slime, and they just removed that, right? In the, the non-Japanese version, yeah. They just like blackened out the screen for like 3-4 minutes. And just had the voice lines. So maybe, but at least they have to do something more here, right? They can't just show this episode. Maybe they can. I mean, I think it's kind of silly, right? I'm an old man. I think it's kind of silly because really though, it wasn't it wasn't even anything really real, Like if you see her like, oh yeah, here's my up eyes, I've seen more in like random, shonen fan service scenes right there. It wasn't really anything really graphical really happening. And the other scene was like the girls at the onsen. I mean, I guess this is the thing right there. The only difference right there. The girls at onsen, that wasn't even the big either. You can find so much more. Look at something like a Bokuban or something. It looks way more. I find that more ecchi. You see, okay, Kaguya-sama or something, yeah, but in the shower. That to me is more ecchi. They zooming in on the angles and that stuff. Because this episode was kind of casually. They was kind of like showing, here's the onsen. They kind of like to the camera like, for doing this thing. Yeah, there wasn't even like a zooming in on the body part. It was just like, here's the onsen. You kind of very briefly show them in the onsen, right? There wasn't like any weird angles or whatever. I think there's so many other animes. I mean, I mean that shonen anime, so right. Rom-com animes, where it feels way more visual. Like, oh, here's the girl, like Kaguya-sama, here's Kaguya in the shower, Shika in the shower, and they're showing like the angles, and they're doing this thing, and Shika drops the soap, it's like, oh yeah, this angle of her in the soap, picking up the soap. That is way more. That's actually not way, but still, that is way more like into it, right? Here it's like, here's just them in the, in the onsen, whatever. It's like a very, very brief scene. You scan it over. I would say it's way less ecchi. The only difference is, of course, they are not like doing the smoke over the up-eyes. That's the only difference, really, right? I guess they could do that though. I guess they could add some, some smoke, something. But they need to do something more, I guess, before they would probably push it out though. But anyway, guys, subscribe to this one. See you guys with Blue Period today as well. And tomorrow we're doing My Hero Academia, right? Gonna have the My Hero Academia read of the villain arc.